had the whole world at our feet, watching seasons change. Our roads were lined with adventure, mountains in the way couldn't keep us from the sea. Here we stand, open arms. This is home where we are, ever strong in the world that we made. I
Okay, good evening everyone. Hello, hello. So, we are back with HackTheBox, or rather, I'm back with trying to, well, continue solving HackTheBox craft machine. And last time, as you might remember, I got a foothold on a Docker container, so now I will try to progress from there. Yeah, if you're wondering what we're doing, I will get to that in a second, but for now I would like to introduce our moderator today. That would be Foxtrot Charlie. You can see his nickname right here. If you have any questions, direct them to Foxtrot Charlie, or you can use !Q, and then just type !Q if you're on our YouTube chat or Discord chat or IRC chat, and then the question, and it will be magically transferred to my question panel. At least I hope so. Yeah. So, yeah, we will be continuing HackTheBox today, and as it might be kind of painful because HackTheBox machines are pretty set for pen testers. Basically, that's good pen testing practice. While I didn't do pen testing from 2009, I think, or something like that. So it might be pretty painful to watch. I am a vulnerability researcher by heart though, so my approach will be one of vulnerability researchers, which basically means that I have no idea how to use Metasploit, and a lot of machines on HackTheBox are solved using Metasploit, and I don't know how to use it. That being said, I can, given enough time, find every bug which is to every bug which is to be exploited and actually exploited without using Metasploit, which obviously takes more time. And there's a little thing which is a little bit problematic, is that I tend to look for bugs, which also means that, like in the implementation, which means that in case of if we would be really unlucky, I might find a 0 day. And I don't want to find a 0 day on a stream because that would be the worst kind of full disclosure probably. So yeah, so I will try not to do that. I will try to have an open mind about pen testing approach and try to think like a pen tester, not like a vulnerability researcher, but it will be painful for you folks to watch that. As somebody put it on our Discord chat, it will be like watching an old man trying to use a smartphone for the first time. So yeah, I apologize for that, but it might be fun anyway. Cool. So before we get there to our usual topic, some news and other stuff I usually say at the beginning of a stream, and after that, yeah, if you have any questions, I can answer them. And around a quarter past, 15 past 8, we can jump to the main topic, which is HackTheBox part 2 of the craft machine. Perfect. Let's go here, and I had this prepared. Perfect. This is my moderator's website, foxtrotlabs.cc, and check it out. It's amazing because it's my moderator's website, so obviously it is amazing. And there is even a post from this year. If you haven't seen it yet, do take a look. Now, there are a lot of questions on both the Polish and the English live streams, and some of the questions we finally put in an FAQ, frequently asked questions section of our live streaming website, which is ginvale.live. So if you go to ginvale.live, then there is this FAQ thingy here. There's also a calendar. You can take a look when the next streams are going to be. You can take a look at who is in the crew, who are the moderators, and so on. But yeah, and the FAQ, I am trying to update it frequently with new things. So yeah, and there is a lot of usual questions are there. So if usual questions will pop up, I will try to redirect you to the FAQ. Now, my team, together with the P4 team and Pierre and a couple of other things, a couple of other people, took part in Hackasat Finals. This was basically a CTF-ish event on DEF CON, which was made by US Air Force and friends, I think, something like that. And it was about hacking satellites. They were actually educational satellites. which were sent to the teams which qualified for the finals. And our satellite was in the US. Basically, it was quite unlucky because it had to be powered by an emergency generator because of like some hurricanes in the area that took down the power connection. So yeah, that was a satellite powered by an emergency generator running on fuel, which is quite funny. Anyway, and and the last tasks were basically to write actual comments that were sent later after the CTF, I think, or like at the end of a CTF, to an actual satellite in orbit, and the satellite was supposed to take a photo of the moon, and folks from P4 actually did an amazing job there and got the equations perfectly, basically, to have a picture of the moon like right in the center of the picture. So yeah, congrats. Our teams, which were called Poland Can Into Space, finally took, or rather remained on the second place. Here, PFS was first. Congratulations. Now, and Flax Repeat Racket, whom you might know from CTFs as well, they are usually under either Flax Fingers or ESPR, Eat, Sleep, Pwn Repeat name. So yeah, congrats to everyone. I didn't play the CTF too much. I was ready basically to play it, but it turned out that they were releasing challenges really slowly, so there was only one challenge available, and where we, like, both our teams had, I don't know, like 10 to 20 people, I would say. So yeah, there wasn't just any work. And my to-do list is pretty hard on me, so I just went to do catch-up work basically. So yeah, all the kudos goes to Dragon Sector and P4 folks and Pierre and other folks who played. Congratulations. But yeah, but it was a fun CTF, pretty out of the ordinary. I mean, how commonly do you you don't hack satellites daily, right? Unless you do, then you're probably pretty cool. Next, Yuru released the final part of his really long and really amazing write-up about his exploit for Samsung phones. He basically got a zero interaction MMS exploit, like remote code execution exploit for Samsung phones, quite a lot of them actually. And he had written up everything. And it's like really deep technically. If you love technical reading, this is for you basically. It's pretty amazing, really in depth. There are 5 parts. Each part is, well, let's see, like this kind of long. Yeah. So if you want to learn about Android, you can learn about Android quite a lot just reading these write-ups. So there we go. Be sure to retweet. Okay. Now, I've actually posted something technical on my blog. Wow, that hasn't happened for, I don't know, like some time, right? It was, yeah, we were chatting on Discord with some friends, and like we said, well, I suddenly started thinking about if the tool we are discussing is actually, does it actually have proper path sanitization? And it turned out it didn't have, which was bad on it in itself, but then the tool basically extracts fonts and images from a PDF file. You know, PDF can have embedded images and can have embedded fonts, and it just like dumps them, right? So if the font would have a path traversal in the name, then that would actually place the file in an attacker-controlled place on the disk, basically, which is usually not great. But there was a suffix like .ttf and the number of the font added, so that wasn't really a problem. But I started looking to how to bypass it, and I found a really cool way to inject a null byte due to how the code works. So in the end, it was basically you extracted a PDF, and due to path traversal and this null byte poison trick, it just dumped a DLL on the disk in the controlled place, and that's basically code execution, or rather deferred code execution on Windows. You can read about it because the null byte poison trick is actually cool. It's kind of out of an ordinary, and yeah, you might enjoy it. Also, the report which I sent to MuPDF is included in full, and also the timeline. It's already fixed, obviously. So here we go. I'll just give you the link. Then Google Capture the Flag is coming in 10 days. Yeah, Saturday, 22nd, starting at midnight UTC time, and 48 hours from that. There is only the online edition this year for obvious reasons, sadly. There is no finals. You might see on Live Overflow's channel or on John Hammond's channel, they are publishing videos about Google CTF finals in 2019, and that was pretty cool, but yeah, this year we cannot do it. But the CTF itself is going to be pretty amazing. So this is basically the online round and the final round at the same time. Now, there's going to be one more experimental event after the CTF, but more on that later, and we will chat about it. The prizes are, like for an online CTF, actually pretty amazing, so do take note on that and have fun. Good luck if you're going to play with your team. Yeah, okay. Now, as mentioned, we are doing the craft machine. It's probably somewhere here. Yeah, craft. We are doing this one. Yeah, I probably should say that while this isn't really a sponsored video, I did receive HTB VIP account for free from them. So you can think of the stream if your local law requires it as an advertisement or product placement, I guess, since I did get it in for free in the end. But being said, all opinions are mine anyway. Yeah, so we are doing this machine, and I guess we can spawn it. But before we get to that machine, I wanted to discuss one more thing. But as mentioned, we will start HTB 15 past, so there's still 4 minutes, and in those 4 minutes, I'm going to take a look at questions. So the questions should appear here, if any. There are a couple. Actually, there are a lot of questions. Let's go just for a couple of them. Could you share some details about HackTheSat? Is it true that only the Polish team took a picture of the moon? I don't think. Well, okay. So I cannot share too many details because, again, I didn't play. I did observe folks playing and I did chat about them, what were the tasks and so on. The first task was, I think, to hack a ground station to get control of a satellite, which was pretty cool. It was obviously emulated environments, but still pretty cool. Anyway, so it was like this. The mission was basically like that challenge's part was to do all the equations required to position a satellite to be able to take a picture of the moon, which requires some quaternion math, basically. And several teams submitted results, and our teams had the best results, as in most closest to ideal results, and therefore that result was uploaded to the satellite. So yeah, the image at the end, well, the image isn't the greatest, okay, because the photo camera on that satellite wasn't the greatest, and I think it was out of focus, or exposure was a little bit weird, but you can probably recognize as the moon, and yeah, and that was actually the one uploaded to the satellite from the Polish teams. Nerd Gangsta writes, do you think that you will be forced to switch the information security field to, for example, WebSec due to rapidly evolving complexity in low-level security field? Okay, yeah, so the question is basically, are low-level security bugs going away? Do we all have to switch to web security? Yes and no. I'm basically... I like both web security and low-level security, so I don't have to switch because I like them both, and I'm doing them both on a regular basis. So for me, it's not a problem, and if you are like that, it's not a problem for you. In low-level security, the complexity is growing and is becoming more specialized. That's true. That is not true in embedded on IoT, but on like desktop applications, especially browsers and operating systems. That is absolutely true. It's like complexity is growing hard. And there were never too many jobs. If you're thinking about career in low-level security, there were never too many jobs in low-level security. So you have to take that into account as well. There are a lot of jobs in web security though. So yeah. In the end, if you want to work in low-level security, do aim at being really, really good. Or otherwise, just do a lot of things like I can do web security, so yeah, I can still like work for money. That's good. Okay, when will my next book be published? I'm not planning to write any new book. I am going to finally, maybe next year or in 2 years, do a second edition of my book, both in English and Polish. There is no first edition in English, I'm sorry. And it's about programming, it's not about security anyway. What about OS Dev Stream? Take a look at our FAQ. We actually have that one answered on the Polish side. Will I stream some low-level Linux stuff? Maybe. I mean, I have some streams already done in that, so maybe we will revisit it at some time in the future. We'll see. Same about ray tracing. It's also in the FAQ. When will you convince KrzaQ to write a book about C++? I guess when KrzaQ has more time, which, yeah, his to-do list is as crazy as mine is. But that would be amazing. I would absolutely read that book. Are you done with PiccoCTF? Hi from Argentina. Hi, hello. Greetings from Switzerland. No. It's just like, there's a stack. We have PiccoCTF here, then the next item on the stack is the GW basic compiler, and the next stuff is the HTB. When I'm done playing with HTB, with the craft machine, I'm going to go back to GW, and there are a couple of like 2-3 more episodes there, and then I'll go back to PiccoCTF to finish the tasks there. So we'll go back to it, but it will still take a couple of months. You suggested me to learn by doing, yes. So I made my own malloc and free implementation, very good. Oh, you say very bad, okay. And used malloc, hook, and free hook, very good. For the reasons they exist, yes. Learned so much. Perfect. That's absolutely perfect, Zero. Like, that's the way to go. Implementing your own malloc and free is one of is something you do if you're in low-level security at a certain point. I've written, I don't know, I think 2 or 3 different implementations of that. Not to do a memory allocator, which is fast, performant, and so on, but to do a memory allocator which detects heap overflow bugs. And that's a good exercise. If you're into low-level security, you might want to do that. You will learn quite a lot about it. A lot of stuff. And yeah, doing malloc-free is one way. Another way is to do dynamic hooking of some functions, especially on Windows. Yeah, that's a really great exercise. When will I convince Foxtrot to update his blog with new posts? Actually, you can just, tell Foxtrot on chat that or ask him kindly. That would be cool. Foxtrot writes cool stuff. I would read it as well. Cyrus writes, is there any way to debug OSs like Windows and see every instruction process? Yes. You have to... No. Go to my channel, go to the archive and look for Honorary Bots tutorial on WinDBG, on debugging Windows. And that basically describes all the process. But yeah, usually you want to have a separate computer. It can be, I don't know, buy it for like $10 or like an old computer, doesn't matter. And then there are ways to remote debug a kernel and the whole system using WinDBG. On Linux, I'm not familiar with the setup, but I'm pretty sure there is a similar thing. You can do it with virtual machines as well, though, I don't know, I mean, for Windows, usually a real machine is a little better. Yeah, I remember you can do it through Ethernet, you can do it through USB, but you need a special USB debug cable, which is weird in how it's constructed. And then there is a FireWire, and I think like old serial connection. I've done it like 2 of these ways and it works, and Honorary Bot I think used Ethernet cable for that and it also works. So yeah. You can do it with virtual machine, but WinDBG has sometimes issues with virtual machines. For VirtualBox there was VirtualKD module, which actually allowed you to speed up the WinDBG, otherwise it was super slow while using on virtual machine. Yeah, but do absolutely look for Honorary Bots videos on this channel. We can actually take a look now, like where we are. YouTube, Genvale, yeah, that's perfect. videos. I don't think, maybe playlist. Did I have a playlist? No, I don't have a playlist. Okay. Then we look for honorary bot. Wow, I did so many streams. Yeah, here we go. 28. Hacking livestream 28, Windows kernel debugging. You might want to watch 4 live streams like 28, 29, 30 and 31. They are absolutely amazing. I will give you a link. If you don't want to watch me struggling with getting root on a simple HTTP machine, you might want to do that now as well. Here we go. Okay, I think it's time to switch, right? Okay, 2 more questions. As I understand, your book is in Polish and not English. Is that correct? It was not published in English. I have a translation, but I need to edit it and update it. But yeah, but it was never published in English. Sorry. And yeah, Foxtrot Charlie also says that there was a stream. We already found it, which is amazing. Cool. Let's jump into Hack the Box. Before we get into craft, I wanted to show you another thing. I wanted to show you a little bit of what's the how thinking about like a vulnerability researcher makes machines more complicated on the example of lame. If you do not want any lame machine, lame is like super easy, but if you don't want any spoilers, then you probably don't want to be watching the next 3 minutes, but yeah, let's just spawn it. Okay, 10, 10, 10, 3. Here we go. This is, yeah. Let's take, I'm going to talk a little bit about that machine, but it's a machine we solved with Dayan over the weekend. And then we read the write-ups, how you should solve it, and we did it absolutely differently, which was quite hilarious. But it's absolutely the beauty of that machine that you can do it in a couple of ways. So, okay, let's do a quick nmap of a 10, 10, 10, 3 machine. Actually, we don't need all ports, we just need the first ports. Yeah, it just complains that it cannot ping the machine for some reason. That's fine. Anyway, so yeah, the machine has basically Samba opened. What's Samba? Samba is standard Windows file sharing. If you have 2 Windows machines on the network and you want to share a file from one to the other, then you use the Windows sharing. You just right-click on the file and you select like share and so on. And that's Samba, the SMB protocol to be more precise. Now on Linux, you can also install the Samba server, which is an implementation of this Windows file sharing for Linux, and it's pretty old. Anyway, so the purpose of this machine was to open Metasploit and find proper Samba exploit and exploit Samba to get root. And yeah, and that's it. Obviously, because I'm not thinking in terms of old vulnerabilities, I'm thinking in terms of finding new vulnerabilities, and you know, in my mindset of a vulnerability researcher, every known vulnerability is a boring vulnerability. I want to find new stuff. Yeah, so I obviously didn't look at Metasploit until it was very late, and we didn't use that exploit either. We went a different route. But I will show you a funny thing we did find. So let's connect to SMB. There's SMB client basically, which you can use to connect. And if you do 10, 10, 10, this will fail probably. I wanted to list it, but okay. It says protocol negotiation failed, blah, blah, blah. Give me 1 sec. There's actually one thing you need to change in the configuration, or maybe I can just take a look. Okay, yeah. Let's go back here. I don't care about this. There's one thing you need to change in the configuration for Samba to be able to actually chat with it. So let's do sudo vim etc. That's not part of a challenge. That's just because the protocol versions don't match. Okay, and in the globals we have to add 2 configuration options. We basically have to enforce a different version of a protocol. Okay, again, that's not part of the challenge. SMB3, here we go. Okay. Did I make a typo? Obviously I made a typo. Client. This is client, how you write client, obviously. Okay, yeah, and now I want the user to be anonymous. How do you put username? Am I? User, not username, user. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to close this. I guess I don't need it after all. Close, here we go. And here on this machine, which you do not see, I'm going to close this as well. Perfect. Yeah, so these are the shared things, and there's this TMP shared thing. So if we connect to that, we do SMB client, then just like TMP. And we are now connected as an, well, we are not yet, but we will be connected in a second as a, why cannot I connect to it? But it worked in a second ago. Let me check if the machine is still online. Let me find my mouse cursor. Oh, machine will be reset. Okay. Okay, now it's back online. Perfect. It's back online, so okay, now we connect. I do need that user. Okay, and now you can basically list stuff, and you find out that you are like, there's some weird files here which you do not have access to, by the way, and you are in the temp directory, and you cannot go anywhere else. You are in the root of the disk, and that's it, right? You can have access only to the temp directory. And a trick which I figured out, and which you might want to try if you are in a sandbox of this kind as well, because it is a sandbox. Like, think about it. It's basically, let's do some theory chat. You basically have the file system, right? This is the file system, where a lot of files here. And then you have something like Samba, or you have something like Apache, like web server, which usually maps a view of a certain directory. So there is a certain directory with a list of files here, and this service basically just allows people to see only this part of the file system. Like, this one might actually show you this part of the file system, because that's what it says in the configuration file. It says like, only show people like the var dub directory, and don't show them anything else. So a typical thing which you might want to try is, if you are able to upload the symlink, is to have that symlink point somewhere outside. And both Apache and both Samba have a configuration option to enable or disable following symlinks. So one thing you have to remember when configuring it as an admin is you probably want to disable symlinks. Unless there is a good reason not to disable them. So yeah, so basically I obviously do not know how to use SMB client, so what I did is I typed help, and after that I started looking for the commands, and hey, there's a symlink here. So what do? You do create a symlink. You do symlink, and then you put the target basically and the name of a symlink. So the target is going to be slash. What's a slash? A slash is the root of a disk. Is it the root of this directory? No, it's not the root of this directory, it's the root of the whole file system. So we do this, and now, because we are in TMP, we can create it, and now suddenly there is an X directory. So what do we do now? We do cdx, and according to Samba, from Samba's point of view, we are still in that temp directory, which is fine, and we are now in the X directory, which is also fine, because that X directory is inside the temp directory, so nothing is broken. The problem is that X is actually a symlink to the file system, and suddenly we escaped into the full file system, and we can go to home, and we can now go to user Makis, and the flag is there. So yeah, this is what we figured out. This is basically, you know, when you're looking for bugs instead of actually just running Metasploit and solving the whole machine. If you do it like this, you can solve only part of a machine. I'm not sure if I'm advertising it correctly, but I just wanted to show you. This is a common trick, like really common trick, to upload a symlink and to do stuff with that symlink. Okay, cool. And Lem is retired for a long time, which is fine. So we can stop this machine, and let's go back to the craft machine, and I will try to remember what did we do last time. Okay, so let me just, that was Linux, that was Medium, and that was a VIP machine. Here we go. Now, I'm going to go through this machine quickly to both like tell you what the machine is about and what point did we reach, and actually also to remind myself, because that was a week ago and I barely remember anything. Oh, you're asking if this is VNC. No, this is actually a feature of Hack the Box. If you have a VIP account, you can then, like here, there is an icon and you can open a PwnBox. And what the PwnBox does is basically starts a desktop virtual machine for you in the cloud, which has Parrot OS running and a lot of tools installed already. And you can just like connect through using a browser. You can just connect to it. And this is actually what you see here is a viewers link. And on my second monitor, I have actually the actual control link through a browser. So I didn't have to install anything. I didn't have to configure any VPNs. I'm super happy about it. So yeah, there we have it. Okay, we have craft active. Difficulty medium. Yeah, next time I'm going for easy, absolutely. So I really like the PwnBox idea. It's cool. Like really, I didn't have to configure anything. Okay, so let's go quickly through the machine. Let's connect to it, but we will probably fail to connect to it because I will have to add a couple of yeah, let's go to 10, 10, 10, what was it? 110, right? And it says I cannot connect, let's do nmap. And before I do that, let me double check I really got the IP okay. 10, 10, 10, 110, fine. Cool. Let's do nmap, let's see if the machine is online. Let's do, I don't know, a quick check of ports and 10, 10, 10, 110. Yeah, it's open. Okay, so we have SSH and this actually requires HTTPS. Here we go. And here it will complain that blah, 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 the certificate is bad, but it's okay. And here it will try to redirect me to a couple of, this is basically an API page. And yeah, this is the API and it also is running Gogs. Gogs is basically like an open source GitHub-like service which you can install on the machine. And to actually be able to see these pages, my browser has to send Apache or whatever web server is running there, the proper host header. And it's not sending it because I'm connecting using IP, and the DNS does not resolve this to a proper IP either. So what I have to do is I have to do sudo vim etc host. If you're on Windows, you can also do it. It's in Windows, System32 drivers, and then etc hosts, I think. So yeah, so we have to add 10, 10, 10, 110. This will make the local resolution library, not even the DNS cache, but resolution library, translate api.craft.htb to this IP. And the other one was gogs craft htb. So I'm just copying it. 10, 10, 10, 110, and this IP. And I think there was another one which I was supposed to do, but we will figure it out later. I'm going to save it. Okay. Yeah, now it works. accept the risk, and this is the GOGS. Now on GOGS we found one important thing, which we probably need to do again. There is this crafts API thing, which is basically the API which is running here on this side. Let's do advanced accept, okay. Yeah, this API is basically the source of it is here, which is great because we discovered one vulnerability there and also the credentials. The credentials were in old commits. If we look at old commits, I think, I don't remember which one was it, but we can go through them. No, misclick. Yeah, so what are you? Oh, it didn't notice that I have called control released. No. Okay. We need to find the proper commit because we need the credentials. Oh, we already seen this one, and this one. Here we go. Yeah, here. Like the test commit, initial test commit actually had proper API credentials. And I'm going to take a look if my, where are my notes? Here we go. If my notes have the proper password, I think it's the same password. It didn't change from the restart of the machine, which is good. I guess sometimes the credentials might change, so I wanted to double check it. So this was in the old commit, and then there was a cleanup commit, which basically tried to remove it. But yeah, like removing something and storing the history of a file isn't really working. You have to basically scrub your repository, or like if you can actually really remove a commit from a repository, that's good as well. Cool. And then we found also there is a bug described here, which I totally ignored at first. And then I found the bug, and then I noticed that, hey, this bug, which is here, the bug is actually has a vulnerability, like described, basically, like in this fix. So this is the vulnerability we found by looking through the source code. And the vulnerability is that they are using, they're using evil. So let's go here. Yeah, here you see evil, and we could just send any Python code to it and it would get evaluated, meaning it would get executed. It would just execute Python code. So what code were we sending there? We were sending there this code. Yeah, what does this code do? Well, it just connects back to our machine, to our PwnBox, and gives us a shell, which is perfect. That's exactly what we need. And we found out that, hey, we are actually in a Docker container. Now we can think about Docker containers as thin virtual machines. They're not really virtual machines, they're just a separate user space running on the same kernel and on the same system. So if you are able to like hack the kernel, well, great, you have the whole host machine. If you are able to somehow escape of the Docker container, that's great as well. And this is what we will be trying to do today. Now, one thing which we also found is we found the credentials to another Docker container which contained the MySQL database. So the first thing probably I'm going to test is I will try to connect to that MySQL instance there to be able to to basically check if I can maybe also get a foothold on that different Docker container. That would be great if I would have foothold on two different Docker containers. That might not be the case, but yeah, this is what we are going to do. So okay, now you are brought up to speed, and we can start playing with it. So do we have an exploit? Or do I have an exploit? I have an exploit in my here, my data, and I should have, yeah, I should have this stuff here. This is actually archived, like the directory is actually archived. So if I go to my data, everything here should be preserved between machines, but there is like it's best effort, meaning that, yeah, I might lose it, but I have copies on my machine anyway. And you can actually SSH from your computer to this PwnBox and like just copy files, which is enough. Okay, cool. So we can do the terminal a little bigger, I guess. Where's the here? Cancel. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Now you should probably be able to see better. So we have ASDF test and ASDF and test. What was what? Oh, ASDF is what we are actually executing there, and test py is actually it's the exploit, which just calls the API which does the evil. We don't need this part. Yeah, it just does the API call. We actually copied it from the test which they had on GitHub, which is really nice of them, and it's sending the actual asdf.py as payload, which is perfect. Now, did my IP change? My IP last time was 39, however now it's 23, so yeah, I need to edit it. So 23, right? Yeah. Okay, so now let's create an open connection here. What was the port? 1234. So I'm going to open the TCP port 1234 and just listen in this netcat session. And we can just do Python ASDF here. Yeah, and we get a reverse connection, which is perfect because we can now take a look. We are, wait, where are we? No, that's wrong. Yeah, I run it on my machine. I need to run tests. It's fine when you do it like this. It's worse if you do it on an attack defense CTF and you mix up your IP and the server, the team server you want to attack IPs, and you are hacking your host and sending them the flags where you wanted to hack them, their host, and want to send the flags to you. I've done it on DEF CON finals for thankfully only a couple of minutes, but I was really like embarrassed after that. Okay, so yeah, we are here. Actually, I'm going to take a look if the settings are, where are the settings? Craft API. Cat settings.py. If the MySQL database settings I have are the same. Yes, they look the same. Okay, cool. So one thing which I absolutely didn't do, which I maybe want to do, is try if I can actually log in to the SSH server using these credentials, because I did notice that they want really like credential reuse on Hack the Box. So maybe that's one thing which we have to do. Okay, now I wanted to check if we have nmap. No, if we have apt. I am root on this container, right? Okay, id. Yes, I'm root on this container, which is good. But apt doesn't work. How do you install stuff on Alpine? Because this is Alpine, right? Cat etc Alpine. Cat etc. I would really love to connect to this machine using SSH. Yeah, Alpine. Okay, so Alpine. How do you install stuff on Alpine? And I'm just going to look for it here. Install nmap. No, how do you do it? How to install package? Yeah, not that I don't know Alpine, but APK. Okay. APK add. Is that it? Hey, it works. What? No internet access on that box? But why? That's interesting though. I think usually Docker containers have internet access. Okay. Well, if I don't have access, that's fine. We'll figure out something else. We don't really need it anyway. I just need to take a look what kind of tools I do have. Because I need to do two things. what I want to do is I want to do like check the basically what's my IP address. My IP address is this, right? It's here, and the host is probably .1. So I wanted to like just scan the host and take a look from Docker, which is basically inside the firewall, or maybe it's inside the firewall. Who knows? Can I like find some other open ports on the machine, which usually could be helpful or useful? Can we actually ping the machine using an external IP? Yeah, we can, and we need to do this now because I always forget I shouldn't do infinite pings. But I don't have Nmap. Let's see what do we have? We have well, the standard stuff. What do we have in user bin? Okay, the other thing I wanted to do is do we have Python? Python is enough for me. Hey, we have Python. Print 1, 2, 3, 4. It probably started the interpreter, but it didn't. That's fine. Python-c print 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it works. Okay, we have Python there, which is enough. It's enough to do anything what we want. Another thing which would be useful is having SSH there. Do we have SSH there? We do not have SSH there. SSH is a really nice tool because you can set up tunnels using SSH. So cool. How do we do a tunnel? It would be, well, we can copy paste there or anything, which is fine. Simihan writes that if I switch my terminal into RAW mode, then I will get a fully interactive terminal. Yes and no, the signals will not be passed, so it would be mostly interactive, not fully interactive. But actually, well, and I'm also on Netcat here, and Netcat doesn't really like a lot of stuff, so I'm curious. Let's see. I'm curious about how well will that work. Well, it didn't work too well. Okay. All right. Now I cannot. Oh, but this is interesting. Using reset here actually should have reset the terminal connection, including going back from raw mode to canonical mode, but seems it didn't work. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Close terminal, yeah. It was a good attempt. It might work in some cases, so I will remember that trick. It's a nice one, even if it didn't work now. Cool, and see. Okay, so what do we do first? Do we connect to the MySQL instance? We don't have MySQL client here, right? And you said I do not have internet access here. Yup, I do not have internet access there. So trying to figure out how to do it the easiest way possible. I'm guessing we do not have SSHD here either, because if we would have SSHD, that would help me a little bit. Is there anything in shadow, by the way? Obviously not. Why would there be anything in shadow on a Docker container? That wouldn't make sense at all. Okay, we need to do a couple of things. First, here, do I have MySQL client? I do not have MySQL client. Second question, is that MySQL or is it Maria or what is it? Do we have Netcat here? Hey, there's Netcat. This is already amazing. Let's connect with netcat to the other, whatever is the craft. Okay, sorry. Host DB. Are we resolving DB? Ping DB. Yeah, we are resolving DB is this one. I forgot my shell. Here we go. Okay. So okay, I can do and see what's the MySQL port. Anyone remembers? V17220. Is it 396 something? 3306. Okay. 306. Okay, we connected and it says, oh, yeah, I basically was looking for the version. Like, what's the version of, is it, this probably should tell me if it's MariaSQL or MySQL. That's probably MySQL is MariaSQL, MariaDB. Does it have this version as well? No, so that will be MySQL. Okay, let's take a look what versions, archive versions there are. Yeah, they basically switch from 5 to 10, as you can... Well, wait, that's weird. No, they were already at... Yeah, they do not have 8 versions, so that has to be MySQL. Which is cool. Okay, so we know it's MySQL. Sorry, wrong book. Yeah. And then it wants a password from us, but yeah, we do not want to give you the password yet. If there is a netcat, I can just do a gateway, right? I need netcat to listen, but to also... Oh, perfect. That should be fine. We should be able to do something like this. Let's create... Oh, I actually need a listening port here. That's not good. Okay, this is basically what I'm struggling with right now. We have this Docker container, right? And it's inside the machine. And then we have our PwnBox here. Our PwnBox, we have like, we can open any port, but this machine, sorry, this Docker container cannot open any port, which means it can only connect to our machine. We cannot connect back to it. Like, we cannot do this. But we want this Docker container to basically connect to the database, which is here. And at the same time, we want to use MySQL client from here and have that MySQL client chat with this container. So what we need to do is we need to have this connect to a TCP gateway here, the client connect to the TCP gateway from the other side, and then this here connect to the SQL server. And this would, yeah, this would basically like a complicated setup of mirrors to redirect the connection. Yeah, I'm just thinking if there is an easy way to do it. I can do it in a couple of lines on Python, but that's always annoying. So before we get there, let's do something else, because we are actually... okay, let's do some coding instead. And to do some coding, we need to copy the ASDF. How do we go about it? I want to basically send some Python code there, which is going to do some magic. And let's wait. Is there any mounts? Before I jump into the complicated stuff, are there any interesting mounts here? Oh yeah, we already determined last time that it's actually showing me the real mounts, which is annoying. Okay, that's not helpful. Quite a lot of processes, which are ours. That's also fun. Okay, so How do you do a gate? Sorry, like a hop with a NC tunnel with a netcat? Maybe you can do it. Yes, this. Thank you. No, not SSH. Yeah, but that's why I told you that you can do it with SSH. You can easily do it with SSH, but we do not have SSH. You can do it with Cellcat. We don't have Cellcat. Yeah, this is what I was kind of looking at. Is basically you can listen. Okay, we can try to do it with netcats. It's going to be painful a bit, but we can try to do it. It's just that we will have to. Okay, tell me one thing. If we do nc-e, okay, it's not after accept, it's after connect. Maybe that will work. That will work actually. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first start with a netcat opening another port, and it's going to be port 3306. Was it? -L. Okay. Here we go. And here I'm going to do netcat, and I'm going to tell it to connect to the wrong port here, by the way. I want it to be at 5. Yeah. Okay, I want it to connect to DB. So I need to do nc dash like this dash v, because v is verbose, so we want it to be verbose. And connect there, and at the same time we want to have it do dash e, basically execute, and we want it to execute netcat, which will connect to our machine, which is 10, 10, 10, 10, 14, 23, at the port of 3305. And the port we want here is this. Okay, so let's do this. Let's run it here. And it complains. Why does it complain? VE verbose execute must be last. Okay, must be last. I didn't read that part. Okay, it must be last because it actually like needs split arguments, which is fine. Okay, this works. Cool. So here I'm actually going to do a different thing. Oh, this is going to be complicated. Okay, here what I need is for it to spawn a listening. Yeah, I need it here to spawn a listening netcat. So netcat-v-p at this port. I don't think I need -b. Yeah. Okay. And now it's listening. No, wait. What's? We have a different version of netcat here. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely different versions. So we run it here. It connects here, and it's complaining about this. Why are we complaining? Because I probably need, you know what? This is weird. Is it traditional netcat? Yeah, it's traditional. So, oh, it's C. Okay, so here we are doing -c. Comment. Okay, now. Because we are netcat is a tool, but there are multiple implementations of it. Okay, and it connected and is listening. So now on yet another terminal, I'm running out of terminals, or actually out of space. I need to do MySQL. Oh, and I didn't install MySQL client. Sudo apt install MySQL. Here we go. Not available because this is going to be painful. Apt search MySQL. Okay, default MySQL client. The versions will mismatch. I already can tell you that, and this is going to be more painful than I would like. Yeah, this is going to be painful. Yeah, we could use Tmux. Why not? That's not a bad idea. Okay, is our... yeah, this is still running. So now we should... wait, what? Okay, that's fine. Now we should be able to do MySQL... is MySQL there? It is, perfect. So, host... it's our host, so like... 0. Username, we have a username which is craft, and password, authenticate with password. Enter password, this is the password. And does it work, or did it already time out? It's probably timed out somewhere, so I'm not too worried. Did it time out here? No, it didn't. Let's kill it. Okay. This, is it, why is it still standing? Please die, thank you. Okay. Call. This is running. We can make it. Yeah. Wait, what? Does this make it bigger? Where's the... okay, thank you. Okay. So, we do this. We do this. I'm not pressing enter yet, I'm copying the password. Boom. This password. Yeah, and it says plugin cannot be loaded, and this usually means that it connected correctly, but we have two new... sorry, you didn't see this, this error. Yeah, this means that we have MariaDB and they have MySQL, and they don't want to chat at each other, because even though both are from the same protocol, their protocols evolved. Unless I can actually install this plugin in case of MariaDB too, that would be interesting. Let me take a look. Maybe I can just install it. But last time I tried it, it failed miserably. Okay. MariaDB. Okay, it doesn't support these plugins. Oh, great. There goes that idea. What do we do now? We don't really need to use this, like the MySQL client. We could use... no, we do need it. Yeah. I'm wondering if I can negotiate a previous version, like tell MySQL or Maria client to actually negotiate a different version. So authentication usually works like this, that both parties say, hey, I know these protocols, and then they select the best one they both know. So, yeah, maybe we can negotiate. On the other hand, if the database password is in SSH 256, we can't really negotiate anything, because that will just not work. Oh, this is a bit annoying. So I guess like Ubuntu or Parrot OS, can I install MySQL on Parrot OS? Yeah, how to this exactly? 5.7. This is what I want. compile it. Well, we can compile it, I guess. That's based on Ubuntu, right? I think, like, I don't know. Maybe. Is there a PowerTest here? No. I'm not a big fan of compiling stuff like this. So let's just, there's server, I want client. Okay, let's just try to download this client. Can I let's do copy and let's open it here in the browser. Wrong browser. No thanks, just start my download, yes, absolutely. Okay, open it with a package installer, yeah. Dependency is not satisfy MySQL community client. Yeah. Going with these dependencies is going to probably take an hour, so can we do it without this? Well, if we don't jump on that other machine, we could do it without jumping on the other machine. So I'm going to leave it for now, I think, the database, because unless... No, we already established that we do not have MySQL client in this container, right? Yeah, we don't. We can do... Wait, there's another thing. We can actually just use the Python MySQL connections to it. Can we? How do you use Python MySQL? I have no idea how to use Python and MySQL. Okay, we can do something like this. We kill this, we go to my data and we do ASDFPY. This is okay. I'm going to no, exit. I'm going to copy ASD. And you cannot see it. Sorry. Here we go. I'm going to copy ASDFPY to xyz.py, and I'm going to do something weird now. Okay, here this is a shell, and it dumps a shell. I would love it to also dump a file for me. So, okay, let's connect to the shell for a second again. Who did this? That wasn't the greatest idea. Okay, we don't need this anymore, and we did minimize the other one. So how to unminimize something here? No, literally, how do you... Where are my windows? Okay, I cannot alt tab because alt tabbing is just working on my system. Well, that's not good. My data Python test. Yeah, just open my shell. Okay. One thing I wanted to try here is whether I have base 64. I do have base 64. Okay. Which means I can easily dump a file there if I want to dump it. So I'm going to kind of change what I'm doing. I'm going to change it to here I'm editing. Okay. So I'm going to insert here something like echo and now something. And this base 64 dash D, is it dash D? I think that's dash D. -d. Yeah, seems to work. Okay, cool. So yeah, we do -d is the code and then dump it into a file, which would be in tmp. Let's just call it file, and that's it. Okay. And now I'm going to do something even more funny. I'm going to copy test to test2, and test2 is going to take, open this payload but from XYZ, read it, strip it, and then treat it as a format string. 64 encode data. Okay, this is going to use the data. I need base 64, and here I need just to open. I'm going to be dumping a file, but I don't know which file. So let's do data is ASDF. Otherwise, if length of 6 argv is more than 1, then with open argv of 1 as binary, read binary, do data equals which Python is it? It's Python 2, which is good. Okay, that's good. Okay, we opened the file and we encoded there. We send it. Okay, this should work. Cool. So now let's try it. We do this and we send. What do we send? Let's create t.py, and this is going to be just user bin, or actually like let's do it like this. Python print. Okay, cool. And now we can do, we are listening on that port, perfect, so we can run test2. Okay, and now let's see if the file was actually created. We have the file, and let's see in the file, there's ASDF. Why is there ASDF here? Because obviously I failed. Let's do it once more. And t.py. Okay. Okay, Python file, and it works. Okay, so now we can upload. Now we can upload stuff there, which is cool. Because if we can upload stuff there, that means we can interact with the database using the Python API. And now I need my browser back. Anyone seen my browser? I wonder if it's just like starting the browser over time. Let's go back to Gogs. And here we can explore, we can use the API. And the API has the database test, right? Okay, so it's just connecting. This is nice. This is what I like. Exactly, this is exactly the code we will be using. So I'm going to copy it. And we don't really need the browser anymore. So let's go back to editing t.py. And here, you know what, let's do cat tpy. Okay, and now we can edit tpy again. Cool, it's from craft API import settings. Yes and no, I guess. No, it's fine. We can make it work. Okay, that's fine. Let's disconnect here. Okay, we disconnected. Let's do this. Not this, obviously. Let's run Python test2, and now we can do here from this directory. We can do Python tmp file, indentation. What did I fail indentation? How did that? Oh, anyway. Let's copy it again. I knew I had to switch to raw mode because otherwise it would be problematic, but I didn't, so my bad. db test raw. Yeah, now let's copy it. Here we go. Python tmp file. Okay. Not found. Oh, because Python isn't. We need to add this to the paths. Oh, we can actually do it just here. This should be enough, right? Permission, what? What? How? Oh, wrong operating system? Yeah, wrong operating system. Cool. No, it still doesn't work. Okay, that's fine. And just add it. Okay, expand, blah blah blah. It's Python path. Oh yeah, but this is what I'm looking for. Cool. So let's go back here, and here we are going to do. Okay, their name file, but no. This is not what we are appending. We are actually appending, how was it? Opt up. Okay. And then from there I can do this craft and this should work fine. Perfect. Okay, now Python tmp file. Really? I got worried for a second that I don't have sys library on the Docker container, but no, thankfully that's just a stupid import mistake. Okay, Python tmp file. Okay, it works. So now we have database connection, but it's not as cool as the one I wanted to use. Which is fine, it doesn't have to be cool. So we just do this. What do we, well, I guess we do, I know what we do here. Here we just do sysargv. Sysargv of 1. We have sys imported, that's good. We can do this. We can do this. Oh wait, one more thing actually. How am I displaying the results? Print results, that's fine. That's good. Okay, so Python tmp file, and now we do select MySQL version. And it says craft function blah 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 doesn't exist, but it works, which is a good thing. Well, I think it's just version in MySQL, right? Okay. Yeah, okay, it works. So yeah, now we have this. So what we can do now is so we are connected to that machine. We might want to, okay, if I would be a pen tester, I would probably start looking for that for that MySQL 8.0.15 in Metasploit, so that's something to note. But that's not really what I want to do. I want to do Python TMP file. I want to select everything from... you know what? I want to try if load file works. That would be nice if it would. MySQL load file. How do you use it? You do load file, select everything, load file. Is it like select everything load file? Is it really true? Is it not from a load file? I don't fully believe it. Select load file, yeah, this makes more sense. Okay, unknown column etc passwd in hey, but is this did it work or did it fail? I'm not really sure what if I'm looking at but it failed. I'm not sure if that's actually a failure. Do I need to do like... Oh, let's do this, yeah. Window. Select command denied. Oh, this is a restricted user. I don't like it. That's not good. I hoped we would get at least like root privileges on the database, but it seems we are not getting root privileges on the database, which makes it a little bit more annoying. Okay, what's the structure of a database? Is there anything worth leaking in the database? That's another question. So let's go back to Gogs. Okay, we have a user. Oh, there's actually a user. We can dump more users and maybe there will be a password reuse. Let's do that. Class user. I have actually no idea how to read SQL alchemy or alchemy. But I'm guessing that means that it's called user and there is a username and a password string. That's how I'm reading it. Which doesn't matter. Python TMP file select from user. User doesn't exist. Is it case sensitive? No, MySQL isn't case sensitive, right? Oh, only one user. So much for any interesting password reuses. It's a bit annoying. Okay, let's see how new is the version of MySQL we are dealing with. So MySQL 0.15. Is it a new thing? It's semi-new actually, 2019. So okay, let's do the pentester way of Metasploit. MySQL. Let's see what exploits do we have. 8.0.15. 2012 was a little bit. No, I want this one. There is a vulnerability and there's another vulnerability. Do we care about these vulnerabilities? Okay, yeah. Authenticated attacker of network access to compromise. Successful vulnerability can... Okay, that's a nice one. Okay, cool. So, let's go here. How do you even use Metasploit? I don't know. Metasploit tutorial, like NSF console. Okay, you do this, but this is I know. I guess it takes a sec. Okay, I guess the terminal is kind of small for it. Cool. Now, tell me, how do you like exploit list exploits? How do I do this? Oh, that's nice. Grab MySQL. Doesn't work. Grab pattern MySQL. What does this mean? MySQL exploit? Yeah, as I told you, I never used... If anyone used Metasploit, please let me know how to use it. I'm quite curious. I never actually used it. Oh, here we go. Search. Searches module names. That's what I want. Search. MySQL. Okay, here we go. We have quite a lot of modules. We have auxiliary admin. No, I want exploit. Here we go. YASL get name. That's too old. That's too old. UDF. That's too old. Too old, too old, too old. We need something 2019. Okay, we don't have anything 2019. So unless I'm really looking incorrectly, we do not have anything we could use there. I'm out of curiosity. If we do search gogs, does it show up anything? No. Okay, that's fine. So what do we do now? We have a foothold on a Docker container, to reiterate. We have nothing really interesting mounted here. Oh, I know, but other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to scan from the Docker container the host, and we cannot use nmap for that, but we can use Python for that. So let's use Python for that. Let's do a scan from Python. I'm wondering if there is like anything else here, which is there anything in MNT? Nothing as expected. Is there anything in dev? Just the standard stuff, which is core, fd, sudo terminal. Yeah, just the standard stuff. Nothing really interesting here. I wonder what's full. There is null and full. And it's a character device. Then we have proc. And in proc, I guess we do not have a lot of interesting stuff either. I'm looking if there's like KMem or something like that, but nah. What's an FS? Now I'm curious. Is there anything fun here? No, but it's just the drivers for like... yeah, so just the configurations and other stuff like that. So... and I only can see my processes, right? Yeah, these are probably only my processes, because if I could see any other processes, I could do some weird stuff as well. But that's not the case. These are like just do PSOX. Yeah, this is just like my stuff. Yeah, this is just my stuff. We should probably do kill all and see, I think. -9 and C, yeah. Just to clear the situation a little bit. And now before we do that, okay, so we are not going to upload this, and I think it was Python 3 by the way, right? We want I'm wondering what's the fastest way to actually, let's do Python test and let's just get a shell. What's the fastest way to do port scan? We can do nc-v -l-p. No, that's fine. Let's do echo a nc-v, and then we go with internal IP of a host. Or actually internal, yeah, we can do internal machine IP of a host. So that's 172.20, right, 72.20. Oh, okay, that's oh, 1, and we connect to a port which we know is probably closed, that's 23. It just returned. If we do, why did it? That's pretty weird. Let's do the same for an IP which there shouldn't be anyone there. It's also like this. No, that was a mistake. Okay, and it just is timeouting a little bit. That's a little bit slow for me. And now let's use a port which we know do exist. So that would be 23. Okay. Cool. So now, yeah, we are going just to use NC for a port scan. How do we go about it? We do... how do we do a bash loop again? Bash for loop. This one. Yeah. So we do for I in 1 to 1024 do echo do echo dash n, oh, echo dash a, and c dash v. Oh, dash v doesn't work because it's not redirected. Because it's on going to standard output. Okay, we can fix that easily. Can just do this. Okay, and then the IP 2001, then the port. The port is going to be I. Good. And then I'm going to actually do this and echo the port number, which is this. And done. This should work for a port scan. Syntax error, expecting do. Right, do is in the incorrect position. It should be here, there should be a semicolon, and do should be here. It's my bad. Here we go. It didn't work because, what did I do wrong? Let's do it locally, so you can actually like... Oh no, it seems to work. Didn't work on the shell. Alright, so like for I in 1.5 do echo I. Done. Because it's busybox, it's not real bash. Yeah, it's just, oh my, this is painful. Okay, Python. Python it is. So Python, how do we do it? Import OS for I in range from 1 to 1024. Do OS system and do this thing. Okay, however, this is %I and this is %I here. And we do, in both cases, I and I. We close this, and it gets executed. Perfect. Okay, and now we put it in. This isn't working. Okay, should be fine. Yeah, I'm going to call Python manually anyway. So we do Python test 2 and T2. And here we need to actually disconnect and connect again. Okay, and we do Python TMEP file. Okay, okay, that's fine. So we found port 20 open, 80 open, which is interesting, and 443 open. Okay. Why is 80 open? 80 wasn't open on our machine. So we, it's basically like this. Like there is this machine, right? And from our PwnBox, we have access only to 22 and 443, but it seems like from the inside, we can also access the port 80. Yeah, so, which is already interesting-ish. I'm guessing there is a wget. There is wget. That's amazing. Let's see what's there. 2001. Error getting response. Is it, or is it just not liking me or something? Dash v. Sorry, you're again seeing mostly my notepad. It's open. Okay, well, I want to get something from you, please. No. It's probably filtered in some way, but that's fine. Okay, that being said, our script works. So if our script works, we are going to do a full port scan. And to do a full port scan, I'm just going to add here 65536. Okay, looks good, cool. Disconnect, re-upload the file, do Python TMEP file, and do it. Let's see if it finds any other ports. It found, oh, but Go, right, the Rasta Go SSH server. Why does it get so many broken pipes? Maybe that's a bad idea. Okay, let's do this. Let's connect there again. But I'm going to do a minor change. I'm just going to do this. We don't care about this, we don't care about this. We just care about this, yeah. That's good. Okay, upload it. I'm just going to clear it again, clear the session so we do not have any hanging scanners in the background. TMEP file. Okay. Oh, it still is complaining with a broken pipe. You know what I'm going to do? One more thing actually. Here, I'm going to just tell it, yeah, you know what? After all, I decided I do not care about standard error. So like this maybe. Okay. Okay, that's better. Okay, I guess it's like the scanner is running, so let's do a couple of questions. How to extract a function from an ELF library so that I can fuzz it without the overhead of running the whole process? So, okay, the easiest way is load the ELF into memory and resolve all the dependencies. You can probably quite easily, with just changing a couple of flags in the ELF header, change it into a dynamic library. And then load it into your process as a dynamic library. And if it's a dynamic library, then yeah, then it's like everything is resolved, all the dependencies are resolved, like dynamic linker dependencies, and all the relocations are done, and then you can just like call one function which you want, and that's kinda about it actually. You might need to like initialize some states of a function, but at the end of the day, that's it. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it would be to actually just go to well, you can copy paste the assembly, or you can copy a disassembled C and compile it. It is messy to get it running, but it is possible to get it running. And you have to copy all the dependencies of a function as well. So the initial idea, it's easier, and there kinda is still overhead, like depending on how you are fuzzing, there kinda is still overhead, but you are not running all the code in the process, you're still loading the binary into memory though and all the libraries, but that's a little bit more pleasant for the fork server at the end of the day. If you're using a fork server, that is. Yeah. Other than that, just like basically you can load the file as binary into memory. If the function doesn't have too many dependencies, then just like monkey patch it, basically monkey wire it to different dependencies, and then just like jump in memory and run it. That's about it. I think these are like 4 different methods, which one of them should work for you. Is your book good for totally noob? So again, my book is... Okay, welcome back. Seems it died for a second. Anyway, so the question was, is your book good for a total newbie? Again, my book is available only in Polish, and no, it's not. It's a book for like intermediate advanced people. Zero writes, before you do MySQL stuff, it would be a good idea to enumerate the system for low-hanging fruits. You can do that using a Linux enumeration shell script called linpiece. That's interesting. I'm going to note it. Okay, and that's, I already, as you know, did other stuff. The problem is, I guess I do not have linpiece in here on this machine, so I'll have to figure out how to send it there. Okay, so we didn't find any other ports. We found the ports which we know about. One thing I might want to do also, which I didn't, is try to connect to this SSH and actually log in using the credentials which we got here, Dinesh, using Dinesh's credentials. We didn't try that before, so let's just try it now. SSH-p. I said last time we didn't try it because I assumed this is just an SSH for channels for Git. It doesn't have any shell access. Let's verify it. It probably doesn't. I'm probably right, but let's verify it. 110, yes. Yeah, permission denied because it only wants a public key, which is annoying because we have the username and password of that user, we do not have their public key. Okay. Cool. So what next we can do is we can actually check what other Docker containers there are in the vicinity. And to do that, I'm going to kind of modify this script to, well, basically change the IP, right? What else can I tell you? And I don't want to upload it every time, so import sys, and here I'm just going to give it this, and I'm going only for a short scan. I do not care about longer scans anymore. I do this here, I need this, and I need sys argv of 1 here. Okay, cool. Now let's do this, let's upload the file, and let's do Python tmep file 72002, nothing, then 03, nothing, 04, there should be something on 04, nothing on 05, there is SSH on 05, interesting, 06, nothing, 07, on 07 we get Nginx on 443, so that's probably GOGS. 7 is probably going to be GOGS in that case. Let's actually start noting this. We have on, I probably should do wider scans, but whatever. 05 we have 22. This is maybe GOGS or Git. Then no, that's OpenSSH, so that no, that's not it. That's neither of these. Then on 7 we have 443 and Nginx, and then let's continue. How many Docker containers are there here? I'm basically looking for a Docker container which has mapped something interesting. Oh, 0 says that I'm in the previous. That's a nice sketch. Here I didn't. It should be fetch all. So maybe my idea with selecting users might be good after all. Thank you 0 for noticing that. We will actually get there in a sec. I'm guessing that means, like, because it's hanging for so long, I'm guessing that means that 08 is actually not present there. So yeah, we probably have only these machines which are present, which means I should probably do a larger enumeration. But before we do a larger enumeration, I'm going to upload this script again, the T script again. So let's do this, and let's do this, and let's do Python tmep file. Sorry, that's Python tmep file. And select from user. Oh, there are other passwords. Who knew? Okay, thank you. Thank you 0 for that. I did not notice that. I have a mistake there. Okay, so we actually do have more passwords, and those passwords are not encrypted. Let's see if we have actually some password reuse there going on. As in, if we can go to Let's disconnect here. And let's start first with SSH. SSH-L, and we are going to use the... We know Dinesh doesn't work, but we can retry it. 10, 10, 10. I guess you can see I'm going to keep the notepad here open for a second. Yes. And the password is this one. Yeah, it doesn't work. Perfect. Then we are going with this person. 10,000 bad words. Yeah, like Control W on a browser does something completely different than it does in a text editor. So I just closed my HTTP. Okay, here we go. Do not press Control W. Do not press Control W. Man. Okay, now let's copy this. No. Okay, let's try the last one. No, it doesn't work. I'm copy pasting the correct password. Yeah, I'm copy pasting it. Which is a bit sad, but maybe that's fine. So let's go now to GOGS. And let's now sign in. Let's see if there's any reuse. Again, we know we can sign in as Dinesh, but let's try to sign in as the next person there. No, we cannot. Let's try this person in that case. Why can't I? Go here again. No typos, no typos. I am a master of making typos. Hey, we can... Perfect, we got another user. This is great. Thank you again, Zero, for that one. That was really, really useful. Yeah, I was like looking now on YouTube stats and I was like, I hope nobody has to see this. But hello to 200 people. Okay, there's... Oh, nice. It seems this person has a private repository. Let's take a look at the private repository of this person. Let's see if I can actually make it a little bit bigger. There are 3 commits. Oh, this is amazing. We have Docker configs. And we have MySQL, the database. Why do I like password reuse so much? Docker compose. Okay, we have GOGS. Oh, this is another port here, which is interesting. We have something which exposes... Oh, okay, that's the Python app. Oh, there's an app and then an API. This is exposed on 8888. So we can probably from an internal network connect to it. So this is pretty amazing. Then we have these directions, and then we have... This is cool. Then we have Vault. Now this is interesting. Vault is basically like a secret storage thingy. And I think you can use even SSH over Vault. Cool. Let's take a look at Vault then. Secret SSH. Oh, this is nice. This will be useful maybe. Okay. Can we get actually this stuff? Don't see this stuff here. Where does it grab it from? Docker. Oh, Vault GPG key. This is probably not useful. Where does it copy the configs from? Okay. Let's go back and let's see what else we have. This is already interesting. And we have 3 commits here, so we are going to take a look in a sec. And are there any other tags, branches? No. Okay. Then we have a MySQL one. Wait a minute, what is this .ssh here? ID RSA. Hey, did the person just submit an... Did the person just submit an SSH key? This is a private key. How nice. How nice of the person. Let's copy this key. Ctrl-C. Perfect. I'm afraid of minimizing the browser. Here, let's just put it to like... who is this person? Like G something, right? G... ID. No, this is enough. Okay. And now let's try to connect, but I need the username of this person. This is on the craft infra, guilfoyle. So I'm going to copy and let's do ssh-l guilfoyle and -i was for the identity. Okay, it says what permissions are to opened. This private key will be ignored. Okay, chmods. Here we go. Enter passphrase. Do we have to brute force it? Is it maybe the... I don't know. Is it this? Like the same password which is here? Not, I need to refresh my YouTube chat, I don't think. Unless everyone stopped talking on the YouTube chat. No, you didn't stop talking, my chat froze. I was like, yeah, but why I was thinking, like nobody is here. It worked. We are in. Yeah, like what? Interesting, cool, well, that's something. Okay, well, user txt. Oh, we got the first flag, finally, yay. Yeah, again, thank you, Zero. I had a good idea with enumerating users. I didn't notice that I have fetch 1 instead of fetch all. All kudos goes to you. Cool, submit flag. Here's my flag. Difficulty rating. I don't know, I'm just really bad at it. It's not that it's hard, I'm just really bad at it, so... Medium? Let's go with medium. Everyone says medium, so I have to agree with it. Okay, now, ID. Which groups are we in? We are in guilfoyle. Is there anything fun here? Anything fun in a vault token? What's vault token? That's really interesting. Authorized key. Known host. Oh, quite a lot of known hosts actually. Well, as you can see, currently for privacy reasons, known hosts aren't like it's I think a hash of an hostname or IP. It's no longer just a hostname or an IP. I can't go to user. Okay. Cool-ish. Yeah, root says no. What's in TMP? Let's just take a look around the system. There's some test.unix, then there is x11. No, I don't have xwd. Yes. Yeah, okay, that's XWD is for making screenshots. I wanted to see if I have access to the root's desktop, because maybe I would have. Usually you don't, but maybe. I mean, worth a try. Okay, nothing super interesting here. Let's go to... what's an MNT? Anything fun? Nothing fun as usual. I'm not in any groups. I probably cannot even interact with Docker. No, Docker, like, ls list. PS, Docker PS, yeah, but we do not have permissions to go into Docker, so we cannot interact with Docker directly. Okay, you know what, before we actually finish looking here, let's take a look what else is here, because I just jumped on this SSH key. Is there anything ever fun which is apart from like submitting your own SSH key, which can happen in all honesty, right? Where is this craft flask thingy? Which doesn't seem to do anything super interesting. Then there is this craft SQL which we looked at. Then there is this Nginx. What's the... I never actually played with Nginx configurations. Let's see what's here. Okay. Home. Oh, there's an interesting location. Home 8888. Proxy pass. Okay. Then we have repo at 3000. We have API here, and we have the vault at another location. So it seems it has like quite a lot of does quite a lot of proxying on different ports, which is fine. We didn't see vault before, right? What processes are running on the machine? Good point. Let's see in a sec. That's a question from Simon. Okay, then we have this vault thingy, which we already looked at. Okay. Cool. Let's do PSaux then. Yeah, we can see all the processes now, including our processes. This isn't the real root, probably. No, it's not. It's just a root in a container. Give me back my terminal. No, seriously, how do you do Alt Tab in a browser? I don't know. But something I need to ask the folks from HTB, how do they do Alt Tab here? I'm pretty sure you can do Alt Tab, but I just don't know how. There is no place, but at panel, show me my application. Current still no application, no. Doc, no. Just list of applications, something like that. Show desktop. Window list, perfect. Oh, wait, is it here? Oh, okay, that's a Windows list, nice. Okay, that's enough. Now give me back my terminal. Thank you. I wanted to actually click this. Let's do reset here and PSaux less. What is this, like a lot of SCSI stuff? Okay, container. Vault server. Yeah, so we have this vault config, right? Yeah, I think the vault is the next thing I'm going to look at. Okay, S6, I have no idea what's S6. Okay, then there's Gogs. This is our stuff, like still running on the Docker instance. SSH, Guilfoyle, that's us. Isn't too much of good stuff. Okay. Cool. What can we do now? We can do we have nmap? Tell me we have nmap. We do not have nmap. Why? No nmaps. How can you survive without nmap? Can we sudo su? Can we su? Password, let's just reuse our password. Nope. And can we use any other password, like for example this person looks like? Nope. And nope. No. Okay. Let's go to home, let's see what other users... Oh, there are no other users. That's probably why we cannot log in as like Dinesh and friends, because there are no other users. Okay, let's see if we go to that... Where was that vault, was it? Sorry, and it is... Where's the config? Before we go there, let's go to SSH, because SSH is weird. Let's SSH dconfig. Is there anything super weird here? Nothing super interesting. Oh, one more thing actually. That's not what I wanted. Okay, it's fine. Cool. Okay, anything vault related here? No. We do not have access to shadow, no. Too bad, too bad. No promises we could crack it anyway, but yeah. Let's see what users are on the machine. Yeah, it's only like this one. Okay, fine. So it's fine. We basically got access to the user we were supposed to get access to. So is it MySQL hosted on this machine just running on Docker? Would be fun. Okay, let's go to bar. Nothing interesting here. Let's go to opt. Okay. Admin is root. We cannot go. Let's go to containerd. Nothing fun here for us. At least we cannot list it. Okay, let's do the standard stuff, which basically means... wait, there is no... One more thing. There is no nmap, right? Is there nc? Links. Links. wget. wget. Okay, here we go. So now, can I check IP address mine? Okay, there are all the IP addresses here. And the vault. What was the vault? What was the port the vault was on? Here we were looking at... No, not this one. This one. Okay, we had the vault thingy, and the vault thingy was running like there were secrets.sh. What's this? But we are not in a group which can configure it, right? Oh, nice, there is this vault thingy. So what happens if we do this? Certificate not trusted. How do you tell? Was it like -K to ignore the certificate? We get ignore SSL. Blah blah blah. No, I think that's -K. No check certificate. Okay. Let's go back here. Wrong window. Oh, right window. 404. Not found. Carl. Do we have Carl? We do have Carl. Error making. 400 errors. Does that mean just that I do not have access to it, or what does that exactly mean? Okay. So how do we get access to Vault? Okay, we know it's there. We do not have access to this like Vault data, right? No, there is no Vault data at all here. Locate Vault. There's no locate, okay. Find. No. Find dot name Vault. Okay, wait. Oh, there is user local, okay. But that's just the binary. Okay, that's boring. I wanted the configuration. I know that, yeah, I know that I have to chat with Vault using post, but it's, I was checking if I have connectivity. Didn't want to tamper with it yet. Okay, and then I have... But we do not have a certificate, so I don't know if we can do too much with it yet. What's in here? Okay. Fetching GPG key from server. And failed. Okay, then it fetches the version. Unzips it. Okay. Makes these things, then it does. And it is running in a developer version. It's also something to take into account. Let's go back a bit. Let's take a look at the commits. I totally ignored the commits. Committing, okay. So yeah, first thing you check in the commits and it's actually like the SSH key, right? Okay, then we have this Docker file for Flask, the Docker compose, which is basically starting all the stuff. Oh wait, and this is actually using volumes, which means where's my, okay. Opt storage. Do we have access? Oh, we do not have access to opt storage. Oh no, we do. No, we do not. Okay, no, fine. I was like for a second, like maybe we do have access, but we just don't. Yeah, maybe we do have access, we just cannot list it or something, because that wouldn't be a problem then, right? But yeah, we cannot enter there. Okay, and the configs are in that place, which is not good. Then we have the nginx thingy. Okay, we have gogs, we have home, which is the website we saw at the beginning, I'm guessing. API and the Vault. The Vault is again on this. What happens if we actually do something like this? If I do like switch to another terminal, this is a terminal which is here, and I do sudo vim etc hosts, not hosts. Here we go. And I just copy this one and I do vault. And now I go over. Wrong. Craft HTTP. Yeah, it says it's having issues. Why? HTTPS. Server not found. Wait, did I do something wrong with my? Valut, right? Obviously. Vaulite vault. Here we go. Try again. Okay, error, refused, issuer, and serial. You're attempting to import a certificate with the same issuer serial as an existing certificate, but it's not the same certificate. Okay, I don't care. Can I just go there? I'm guessing HTTP doesn't work. No, seriously, I cannot enter it. Is there like an about config? What happened here? About config. Oh yes, I know. Something which I can disable just as SSL checks. SSL override behavior. Okay. Sorry. No. No, it doesn't seem it allows me to go there, which isn't a problem because even wget didn't show anything. That's fine. Okay, let's keep browsing. Okay, so Vault is there, we know. Then we have this Vault Docker config, which is fine. And then we have the initial config, which we could use the key basically to do anything with it. Okay, so this disable, yeah, this is probably why we cannot actually do anything with it, is because it's disabled, the UI is disabled. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. Add script to enable secrets backend. Yeah, but if we do anything with it, it doesn't really, it just complains, right? Like, where's my terminal? Yeah, it says that error making API request, because I don't think we even have any permissions to do that. On the other hand, let me copy paste the other thing as well. Actually, I'm just going to copy paste it to my notepad, but it might be useful later. Why did this work? Okay. What do we do next? Have a vault token, right? How do you do SSH with vault? I don't remember. This. Okay, we have it enabled. We have this. Okay, and now we do. Okay, so if, we probably should just do it from another terminal. SSH-L root. There's no OTP. What do we do to force an OTP for it? Root OTP. Default user root. Let's see if this works actually. Now I need to force like SSH to actually go into this mode, I think. Okay. Why does it have problems with like resolving 0? Vault, obviously. OTP, oh my. Now I'm just going to copy paste it here. Yeah, if anyone knows how to use Vault, then please let me know. I don't. No, that was like roles root OTP. It's a different thing, a different role. Root OTP. Okay, OTP session. Enter back this code in the SSH password prompt. If you install SSH pass, you can also, okay. Okay, we root. Too much looking at manuals, folks. But yeah, but that's it basically. So yeah, it seems it was configured in a way that allowed us to tell Vault that to issue a token to us, which allowed us to log in as root, which is a weird configuration, but whatever. I mean, I'm just claiming the flag anyway, so yeah, here we go. Submit a flag here. Was it harder? I would say it was a little bit easier than the previous steps, than actually getting a foothold on the machine. We got a foothold first on the Docker container, but that didn't lead us anywhere. Well, it did lead us to enumerate the whole MySQL database, as Zero reminded me to do correctly. And yeah, so that means we did complete the machine. And I think, okay, cool. So yeah, that's basically it. And then what you had to do is you had to like look up in the manual how to use Vault to actually log in somewhere, and we did. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. Okay, now what I want to do is I think that's it actually. I was wondering if I want to check anything else, but no, that's it. So yeah, we at the end of the day managed to hack it. So let's reiterate what we did. we okay, we found an old commit in GOGS. Like, we did a scan of a machine, we found GOGS, which is again something like GitHub, but hosted locally. We found an old commit with credentials, and that credentials were actually reused, and they allow in two places. They allowed us to access API, craft API, which craft beer API, I guess, which was running on that machine, and also to access the like the GOGS as well. And analyzing the code of that API allowed us to find an evil which was enumerating deserialized data which was coming from us. And having these credentials which allowed us to access the API allowed us also to communicate with that evil. And after communicating with the evil, we get a foothold on a Docker container which gave us MySQL passwords. We couldn't connect with a MySQL client because the Parrot OS has a new MySQL and the machine is running an old MySQL, which meant we had to use Python API to enumerate, and then I made the mistake of fetching one record instead of fetching all records, and thank you to Zero for spotting that actually. Then we had to go to after doing that, we got another user on GOGS, and that user had an internal API, which basically, the internal API basically allowed us to, we found a configuration, more of a configuration, and on that, not internal API, what I want to say is internal repository. This is my problem. Okay, so internal repository, yeah. And the internal repository contained the private key of an SSH of a user on that machine. And we could SSH to that machine and finally get a decent foothold using a proper shell and not in a Docker container. And then it turned out that that user could actually interact with Vault. And Vault has this OTP thingy which allowed us to configure it to tell it that we actually want OTP, like one-time password for root, and it gave us that token for some reason, and we could log in as root, and that gave us the second flag, basically. So that's it, which is, yeah, that was pretty fun, I would say. Cool, let's go with questions. Again, if you have any questions, do !Q and then the question, or pass it to today's moderator, but I'm going to be pretty quick with the questions. I just need to, I guess, turn off my machine. So yeah, let's turn on my PwnBox. Yeah, I know you cannot see it, but that doesn't matter. Okay, terminate. Okay, my machine is terminated, so I'm saving time. There's only 24 hours a month, I think, so yeah, that makes sense to save it. Cool. Okay, questions. Questions will appear here. Pavan writes, what does a security researcher do? Like, what are their day-to-day tasks? So it depends. If you are really focusing on security research, what you want to do is you want to basically push the boundaries of current knowledge and security forward. And there are multiple ways you can do it. Like, you can, I don't know, look for new vulnerability classes, or you can find new ways to find automatically vulnerabilities or detect vulnerabilities when they happen dynamically, or you can iterate on different methods, like older methods which are known, and maybe improve parsing, for example. And you can think also about, like, how do you protect against it? How do you, for example, protect against the buffer overflow, figure out a new mitigation? So this is basically what you do. You try to push the boundary of current security knowledge forward. And some ideas are not practical, some ideas will be practical. That's normal in research. You also try to, like, look for vulnerabilities, obviously, but it's a mix, basically, because you need to, you know, be a practitioner to be able to push it forward. Yeah, this is what I said, what I noticed in the question panel. Thank you, Zero, for that. Radu, depending on the flavor of NC, you could use -z flag. Wow, okay, Radu, I didn't know about -z. Thank you for letting me know about that. I need to check after the stream what does it actually do. Not stream related. Do you know any alternative to Maltego, which is best in... Okay, what's Maltego? Probably no, because I have no idea what's Maltego. Let me take a quick look. Oh, it's open source software for forensics. No, I have no idea. Sorry, that's like not my area of security actually. Shelton writes, didn't Gogs show that Dinesh had uploaded his SSH key to his account? Didn't. But that wasn't like Dinesh didn't have an SSH. Sorry, Dinesh didn't have an account on that machine at all. The logs show in Gogs that Dinesh. Okay, so there were two SSH servers. That's one important thing. There was an SSH server with access to the shell, and there was Dinesh didn't have an account there at all. And what we initially on previous stream saw was Dinesh actually having an SSH key in the second SSH server, which was only for Git. It was only a channel for Git. There was no shell, because SSH is it's a communication protocol, basically. It's a tunnel. It's an encrypted tunnel, and you can put any protocol through this tunnel. For example, Git, for example, remote shell, right? Or for example, SFTP to transfer files. Or for example, like SOCKS to do tunneling of web. Yeah. And yeah, so we saw Dinesh using, like having a key in the Git only SSH, and that didn't give us a foothold. And that was also a public key, not a private key. Okay, yeah, like next step would be this, basically, to check if there are any SWIT or GUID enabled files, any files which are world writable or writable by my user and shouldn't be, check for any IPCs and so on. This would be the next step, but we didn't have to go there. When are you going back to doing PicoCTF? I would say give or take 2 months, maybe 1 month, but more probably 2 months. Any chance of seeing you do some more HTB? Maybe. Not sure if next week, but maybe. What do you feel about using some software you analyze from a security point of view? How do you feel about using some software you analyze from a security point of view? I'm not really sure how to understand that question. If you could reiterate the question, change it a little bit. Yeah, sorry, I'm not fully sure how to interpret it. What resources to start PE reverse engineering? Well, the official PE specification and any PE viewer, and then go and write a PE parser. Yeah, this is basically it. This is what you have to do. I don't think there are any other questions, but I'm going to browse through a chat. Maybe there is a secret second flag. We already submitted two flags, by the way. Are there secret flags on HTTP apart from the user and root flag? I'd love you to see doing insane boxes like rope. Nah, not on a live stream. It just takes too much time. And it's a little bit harder to focus also when talking. Okay, one more question then. Mateus, I have been playing in a CTF here in Brazil. Do you know any method of escalating privileges on an FTP only with anonymous access? Kinda depends what you can do. And what kind of FTP is that? If, some FTPs do allow you to do weird stuff, and, for example, maybe you can do symlinks, for example, which might allow you to escape a jail, like a directory jail, as shown at the beginning of this live stream. Maybe you should do... Maybe there's like, if it's a CTF, maybe the implementation of the FTP is broken and you can just, hack the server, like look for a vulnerability in a server. That's more common in CTFs actually than on HTTP. Then FTP can also be used as a weird kind of a TCP tunnel. Due to how FTP protocol works, you can basically tell it to connect somewhere internally, which you normally cannot. Maybe you can use it for that, depending on the actual challenge. Nothing more comes to my mind. Okay, I think that's it for today. It was a little bit longer than usual, so thank you for being here. Thank you to my moderator for being here. And see you folks, maybe next week or maybe in 2 weeks. We will do either go back to GW Basic or we do another HTTP machine. This one next time will be easy machine probably. So that's it. Thank you and take care, and hope you maybe not enjoyed it, but at least had fun. So yeah, see you next time. I'm going to leave with some music. Cheers folks.